Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price. Hope you're having a great evening. I am visiting with Shannon Register over at Register Real Estate and having a great conversation with Dr. Jim Gaines from Texas A&M University. Before we get started again with Dr. Gaines, why don't you again remind the audience about what you do over there at Register Real Estate?
Absolutely. We have a website at rrea.com where you can find all of the local Houston real estate news. We have a blog where we keep up and track all the local news and information and all the new housing things coming out, because there's so many changes always coming out in the housing industry with lenders and insurance and just so many changes going on. So you can find all of that at rrea.com, and then at rrea.tv we have all of our videos. As you know, we have a video production studio in-house.
Fantastic.
So we can help people buy and sell homes with video.
Very cutting edge. Dr. Gaines, you were about to tell us about what's happening locally and in the state of Texas. Why don't you just jump right in?
All right. Well, the state of Texas, as everyone is generally aware right now, has done much, much better during this the Great Recession and really the lingering recession that's been going on ever since 2007. Our economy has picked back up. We've basically recovered all of the lost jobs in the state, whereas the national level is nowhere near recovering all those jobs. People are going back to work. It's surprising to some why our unemployment rate is so high in this state. One of the reasons is a lot of people are moving here looking for housing, but looking for work. And while they're looking for work, they're unemployed, so they get counted in that unemployment rate.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly right. We're seeing a lot of that. Our unemployment looks on paper fairly high, but that's because of the result of all the jobs that are taken as soon as they're created.
Right, which is people moving to the area and buying homes, which is a good thing.
Which is a very good thing, especially if you're in your business.
That's right.
Exactly. Well, some of them come in and have to rent for a while if they're still looking for work and adding to that employment. But once they get work, then yes, they are adding. And incidentally, to give our listeners a little bit longer-term, more positive outlook, we believe, and I think a lot of people are coming to the conclusion, that there's a lot of demand getting pent up. People who would like to be in the market, who would like to be buying, and for various and sundry reasons have been holding off on making that leap into the purchase market. We suspect that pent-up demand, we may not see it released in 2012. Now, that's not the good news, because 2012 is still a transitional year, an uncertain year, particularly politically, and right now in a lot of the global economics. We're not sure whether Europe's going to fall into a pretty good-sized recession here with all their capital market problems. So a lot of decisions being postponed, pent up, but by 2013, 2014, when these things become more apparent, we'll see it burst forth. Now, Houston is even doing better than the state of Texas. Houston is well recovered. Price levels are back up a little bit. Sales volume. When we finish the year for 2011 and we close the book on it, we'll probably discover that sales volumes, prices, average prices are up. They're not going to be up tremendously. There's not going to be anything to write home about, but it sure beats the heck out of being down 5 to 7%.
That's right.
Right. Why don't you take a minute, Shannon, and talk about what you've seen in your own personal business?
Well, as far as the MLS goes, we know we have lower inventory now than we've had.
Which that's typically a good sign.
Yeah, that's great, which means hopefully we're moving more towards the seller market, at least in that direction. Right. One thing that we're seeing at the brokerage is a lot of investors jumping into the market, which indicates to us that we're at the bottom, and they are kind of voting with their pocketbook that they think the economy is going to move up in 2012. Do you agree with that, Dr. Gaines?
In general, yes, and particularly here in the Houston area. Houston, as its fortunes have been rising basically with the oil and gas industry and the energy industry overall. Our job levels are up, income is up. There's probably, and this is a big one that I want to hit, because nationally I think we still have a psychology of lack of confidence and no faith in the future that is atypical of most of Americans historically. But in Houston, we have it. In Houston, we have more confidence in the future that tomorrow things are going in the right direction, and I want to move with it.
Yeah, we'll call the word malaise.
I called it a psychological malaise.
Yeah.
My wife loves the term.
Yeah, malaise seems to resonate, unfortunately. And largely government created, in my opinion, malaise, thanks to a lot of obstacles created by government between entrepreneurs and opportunity. And as long as those obstacles exist, you're going to have the economic havoc we're having today.
Well, the government is finally figuring out, I think, that there's a law of unintended consequences when they try to do something.
Yeah.
And even though on the surface you would say, okay, government, you need to come in, you need to do something, you need to do this, fix that, and they make up rules and regulations or new laws, and then they're surprised at how those things actually impact what people do.
Yeah, they don't take place in a vacuum, so there's always consequences to whatever these policies have.
That's right.
No, and the policies, there are structural economic models that tell you if you do A, then you should get result B. The problem is that most of those structural models don't include the behavioral aspects, and that screws everything up.
That screws everything up. It almost is more beneficial to have a degree in psychology than a degree in economics to figure out how human behavior is going to work in this whole factor. You have a question?
One of the things that I wanted to let listeners know about is that as we head into the new year, right now at the end of December, there are a lot of great opportunities right now for new home construction. I know D.R. Horton in particular is offering a lot of incentives. A lot of your local builders are offering a lot of great incentives to get rid of inventory before the end of the year. So just want to mention that if you're thinking of buying a new home, now is a great time to get out there and purchase, because we know a lot of people don't purchase in December and they're trying to push that inventory before the new year. So you can get some really great deals right now.
Yeah. Does that resonate with you, Doctor?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've been saying for the last year, and it's going to continue into 2012, this is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of people to come into the home ownership market. With prices being down, with builders offering
amazing
tremendous incentives and inducements, with interest rates below 5%, heck, in many cases below 4%, you're never going to see this again.
Yeah.
Once we get through all of this. Now, are we going to linger a little bit here at a bottom in a trough, to thinking of it in like a cycle? Yes. But we've been in that trough, and I think particularly in Houston and in Texas, we are having indications that we're going to come out of that trough a little quicker than everybody else.
You have to forgive me, Dr. Gaines. We've got to wrap it up. Again, go ahead and give that website one more time. recenter.tamu.edu. Very good. And Shannon, your contact information?
RREA.com is where you can find everything about Register Real Estate Advisors. We're a real estate company here locally, and we're always happy to have Jim Gaines on with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Dr. Gaines. We look forward to getting you back on again. Thanks to you, Shannon. Again, a great guest, and we're going to have much more for you right after this on The Price of Business.